Western Australia's beautiful port city of Fremantle is the perfect setting for the Woodside tour to Perth as it plays host to Australia's best male road cyclists in the first event of the 2015 Subaru National Road Series. Getting a head start on the men though, the women of the National Road Series have already had 2 rounds of wheel-to-wheel action at the Santos Women's Tour around Adelaide and the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Classic. And in the Santos Tour, it was Orica AIS's Valentina Scandalara taking the overall victory, and just a short week later, it was Rachel Neylan getting the better of the Orica AIS team to take out the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Classic. In the overall series, Scandalara leads on 22 points, 3 ahead of her teammate Hoskins and 10 points ahead of Rachel Neylan. But with the first 5 in the overall standings now racing in Europe for the remainder of the season, last year's series winner Ruth Corset is well placed despite sitting in 6th. Western Australia's beautiful port city of Fremantle is recognised as the world's best preserved 19th century seaport. The historic buildings and abundance of cafes and restaurants make it a popular destination for visitors from nearby Perth. To kickstart the men's series, the riders were faced with a short heart-starter time trial over 1.3 kilometres. The riders willing to risk it all in the corners to maintain a high speed, combined with the sheer power required to ride fast, would be best placed to chase victory.
Obviously the weather's going to play a huge part. I think cornering is very important. There's a big U-turn here leading to the final straight, so I think that's going to be very vital to carry as much speed as you can through the corners and just delivering on the line.
As the street lights illuminated the tight circuit in the heart of Freo, plenty of the better-known speedsters in the field tackled the course. But to the surprise of many, it was the mountain bikers straight off the back of their national championships 2 weeks earlier that stood out, finishing 1st and 3rd. 2014 National Under-23 mountain bike champ Cameron Ivory from GPM Stultz was 3rd fastest with a time of 1 minute 25.7. Angus Tobin went 1 second faster around the course for his health.com.au Search to Retain team to claim 2nd. But it was the imposing figure of Paul van der Ploeg lighting up the streets with a blisteringly fast lap of 1:23.9 that saw the Charter Mason rider claim the first leader's jersey of the 2015 season.
My pet hate is people who flood the bathroom.
When my older sister leaves all the dirty dishes all over the bench.
Oh, when my brother's using his phone and you ask him a question and he doesn't respond for about 3 minutes.
My favourite line from a movie is "Do you feel lucky, punk?" From the movie Dirty Harry.
Probably from Lord of the Rings, from Gandalf. You shall not pass.
From the movie Step Brothers. Hey, I forgot to ask, do you like guacamole?
If I was a female, the teammate I'd fancy would probably be Russell, because he's still repping the 90s mohawk.
Oh, probably Dylan Pierre-Humbert, because yeah, he's sort of like angry and he's pretty tough.
Or I'd say Dylan Pierre-Humbert because he seems a little bit angry.
The teammate who is most careful with their money is probably Nicholas Graham Dawson. He ate all my chocolate cookies last night when he came to our room.
Probably Sam, my little brother, because he always rocks up to the coffee shops without money and it makes me pay.
I'd say Nicholas Graham Dawson because he's always pinching food from us, so I reckon he saves a packet that way.
Stage 2 of the Woodside Tour to Perth takes place in Perry Lakes, home of the 1962 Commonwealth Games. Stage 2 is 96 kilometres on an 8 kilometre circuit. It's held here in Perry Lakes. It's got a very, very steep climb up Waldron Drive. It kicks up to 12%. It's going to be a little bit difficult for 1 or 2 of the riders. However, history shows on this course we should see a very big bunch sprint.
When we start doing the climb, it's going to be a good challenge into the bottom of it and over the top, and whether or not a small group can stay away from the top to the finish, it's still pretty far to go. We'll have to wait and see.
3, 2, 1, and we are off stage 2.
The man in the yellow jersey for this stage is Paul van der Ploeg. He was the fastest in Fremantle yesterday. He's a very fast finisher. He may be able to defend his jersey here today.
You just have to go in confident. If you're not here to win the race, then why are you even here? So, no, it's good fun. I mean, last night suited me so well coming from a mountain bike background. Like, the mountain bike eliminator format is very similar to what we had last night. Like, a minute and a half of flat out time trial as fast as you can go in a technical tight circuit. It was perfect.
Well, perfect conditions greeted the bunch this morning, and the race was animated by a breakaway of two men, Guy Calmer and Pat Lane. They went off the front early in the race and they established a lead of over 1 minute.
Yeah, I was a bit confused what I was doing for a second there. I wasn't planning on going in any moves or anything, but I saw Paddy go and just followed his wheel. He didn't really hit it too hard, so just followed it, and everyone sort of sat up and let us go, so we just sort of kept on rolling, and we got told no one was rolling through to try and bring us back, so took the morale down a little bit, just think they don't rate us in that sense, but you know, we ended up staying out and being able to stay out until a little break came across to us, so I'm happy with that.
At first it would seem the bunch wasn't interested in chasing the two breakaway riders until lap 8, and then we saw the class come to the front of the bunch. Jack Bobridge and Pat Shaw leapt off the front of the group, and that is what started proceedings for this morning's stage.
We were leading the race with Paul, so we actually tried to have it as a bunch kick, so he could stay in yellow, but then was like a split, and we saw Jack Bobridge from Budget Forklifts up the road with one of Andy. So we had to do a move, and my teammates, we were leading into the climb, and then we were like sprinting over the crest, and then actually a big split happened, and then we had 3 guys in the front split with me, Sam Crome and Ben Hill, and then we pretty much knew we have 3 in the front split, so it's pretty good for us, and we were all pretty high on GC anyway.
18 riders finally came together under the pressure of what Bobridge and Shaw had done, and it was going to be a very fast sprint finish as they moved into the final lap.
It's a bit of a brutal last 2 laps. I was sort of cramping away and just sort of had a bit of an idea that I might as well give it a stab on the last climb, so went over that in front and just cramped both legs. Just let them all roll back over top of me and just sat at the back until the finish.
The 18 riders in the final lap, they didn't have to worry, they had a 2-minute lead, and that gave a big chance for Charter Mason Giant to go 2 for 2.
Only time will tell as they come across the line with a sprint finish.
Raph Freenstein took out the stage from Massimo Graziato, with Pat Shaw of Avanti Racing taking out 3rd place.
It was perfect for me. They worked hard, so we actually got the front split to the bunch, and I took the win, just paid off the teamwork. I raced here last year as well, same circuit, and I had a flat first lap and couldn't finish, and I actually was standing on the finish line filming Shannon Johnson, how he won. So I'm super proud and happy actually I can continue the success of the team.
You're back here again, you must like racing in Australia.
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. It's just super fun with the team, the atmosphere, good weather, and it's just like different culture, and it seems like the whole cycling scene is growing and stepping up every year in Australia, so I love coming back, and hopefully next year as well.
In his second season in Australia, the German rider Raphael Freinstein out-sprinted a reduced field to take out the stage, ahead of another import, Italy's Massimo Graziato. The best placed rider in the lead group after the prologue time trial was Budget Forklifts' Daniel Barry, and he moves into the lead of the Woodside Tour de Perth ahead of Freinstein, and slipping into the Ledge Sprinters jersey and 3rd place overall is the young rider Guy Calmer from OTOC Volt. And finishing off a fantastic 2014 season with victories in the Tour of Tasmania and the Melbourne to Warrnambool, it was the health.com.au search to retain team that definitely had a breakout year.
It's probably not my favourite. Just got to work out what you need. Which probably isn't much really, just a skin suit and a helmet.
The unique culture we have, it's kind of like when you visit your old schoolmates again, you all just fall back in. It's, you know, you're all away training in your hometowns, and then you come together for a race, and it's like, you know, it's always how it has been.
Well, the team came about because my son-in-law got a little bit excited about cycling and
couple of his mates were doing a little bit of club racing, and they heard about this thing called the Tour of Gippsland. So they enlisted my support really for logistics, just to move them around, etc. And next thing you know, I'm driving in a convoy and on a race radio, and calling statistics and race strategy. So essentially I got hooked. A cycling team is probably a bit like a business, or we run it like a business, because you get such instant feedback. So from my perspective, I really enjoy testing something, instant feedback, change, and do it again. So I just got addicted to it, and we decided to use it as our sole marketing method for the company. So we had to get successful just to get recognition, because nobody wants to talk to second or third place.
Winning the Melbourne to Warrnambool last year, 2014, that was a lot of guys say it was their breakthrough win, and for me that was exactly the case. It's a little bit cliche to say that, but for me it's only starting to sink in, the significance of winning that race, and confidence-wise it's just brought me along leaps and bounds.
The culture's complex. We actually measure it, and we measure the culture fit of each of the riders. Don't necessarily exclude someone if they're not a good fit, but we know where the mismatches are going to be and what we need to manage. But it's very inclusive. We try and pick community-based people that are interested in obviously high performance, but also contributing back to the community. Just try and create a bunch of nice guys.
As far as National Road Series is concerned, this is the big one. Last year we showed at the end of the season, the back half, we really could mix it with the bigger teams. So this year we're looking to carry that momentum forward and really build and have a more consistent first half of the year.
We want to develop them and then grow with them to that next level, and obviously age is where we want to go, and we certainly want to have one of our riders get to the top of the tree.
That'd be great.
Stage 3 of the Tour de Perth kicks off in the picturesque village of Kalamunda in the hills east of Perth. The area is a hub for bushwalking, bike riding, arts and crafts. Today's stage is Moving Day in the Woodside Tour de Perth. This is the stage with all the hills, all the exciting action to come. If you want to get up on GC, you want to be a good climber in this bike race.
Yeah, I've ridden it before, and yes, it's very tough, and like guys were already running out of legs yesterday, so if they were doing that yesterday, it's going to make a very hard day for them today.
2, 1, we're away, stage 3.
The overnight tour leader is Dan Barry. He rides for Budget Forklifts. He's got a very strong team to support him. Jack Anderson and, of course, Jack Bobridge. It's going to be very interesting to see who they decide to support on this very hilly circuit.
Oh, look, it's always part of the team plan to have someone in the jersey. It was a bit of a surprise to me. I mean, I'm here primarily to support our best GC hopes, but hey, a day in the jersey, maybe more, we'll take it.
The challenges will come from Avanti Racing. Ben Dybel looks the goods. Also, we will see a very big push from Charter Mason Giant. They've won 2 stages, they've got a very strong team here. Look for them towards the end of the bike race. The race got underway with a flurry of attacks, but unfortunately the first lap showed the dangers of cycling. A crash at the bottom of the descent, first time down. Riders picked themselves up, got back in the race for as long as they could. 1 or 2 had to withdraw later because of the crash, but we're glad to say nobody's gone off to hospital today.
And yeah, they're all trying to push up, trying to get to the front on the descent, and yeah, he's just gone off the side of the road here and laid it over, and it's like, we're going quick, so there's nothing you can do. You hit the anchors as hard as you can, but you just go on the ground, but whatever, mate, that's bike racing.
The breakaway of 3 was reeled in, and that just set up another opportunity for 2 more riders to have a go. Melbourne to Warrnambool winner Oliver Kent-Spark. He jumped up the road with young Michael Storer, Otok Racing, Junior World Champion, one of the men to watch this year.
The race today, personally for the team, it was a bit interesting because yesterday we made a few tactical blunders, which put us in, left us today with not so many options. So we just wanted to really be in the race, aggressive, just really strip it back to the basics and have a dip at the end, which is what we did with myself going with 2 to go and then having Sam there at the end to contest the finish.
As they came to the final 16% gradient climb Hummerston Road, the 2 riders had 10 seconds. 10 riders got clear over the top of Hummerston Road and they fought it out mano to mano.
We just got to sit back, and then the last lap and a half it was really aggressive. So we just sent one guy up the road, all the time, covering all the moves.
Who will be crowned the winner of Stage 3 in Kalamunda? Another China Racing.
Oh man, that is so good.
Thank you, boys.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff, 3 in a row.
Yeah.
The boys just were phenomenal today. They, coming into the tour, they just backed me 100% for this stage, and I thought I was in a major trouble when on the first lap on that major descent I binned it pretty hard, we were going super fast. I just felt so bad, but the more and more I kept riding, the injuries just came good, and I had the right wheel with Jack at the finish, and he just went early and was super strong, and I knew I could get him on the downhill run, and I did, so I'm just stoked.
Charter Mason Giant have made it 3 from 3 stage wins. The young Sam Crome taking out the stage in front of Budget Forklifts' Jack Bobridge, and once again in 3rd place, Avanti Racing's Pat Shaw.
A breakthrough victory for Bendigo's Sam Crome gave Charter Mason a hat-trick of stage wins, ahead of the big name of this year's series, Jack Bobridge from Budget Forklifts, and back-to-back 3rd placings was Avanti's Pat Shaw. Showing plenty of potential, the surprise packet of the tour so far sees Guy Calmer move into the overall lead, slightly ahead of Bobridge and Crome with 1 stage remaining.
The final stage of the Woodside Tour de Perth will have Australia's sunniest city and the beautiful Swan River as a backdrop. We're looking forward to a fast and furious finish to the Woodside Tour de Perth for 2015. We have a 2-kilometre circuit. The riders are going to tackle absolutely dead flat. It's a rectangle. It's a criterium race. The race is going to be over 90 minutes plus 1 lap of the course.
3, 2, 1. We're off, ladies and gentlemen. The final stage, stage 4 of Woodside.
Things are very tight at the top of the leaderboard. The tour leader at the moment is Guy Calmer, a young man from Western Australia. He is actually leading the tour, he's leading the green jersey competition, and of course he's also the white jersey wearer in the Young Rider contest. Strange to see this young man up so high. He'd never won a jersey previous to this tour.
Oh, completely unexpected. Came into the tour just hoping to help out the boys with all what their aspirations were, because we've got a few of the young boys who are extremely talented. And it's just ended up that I've managed to get in the right break on the second day, and yesterday just managed to hold on to the back of the bunch up the climb, so it's all a bit of a blur at the moment.
Calmer is going to have some stiff opposition. 4 seconds separate the top 4 bike riders, and the Olympian Jack Bobridge sits in 2nd spot at just 1 second.
It's not up to me today to do the be aggressive and make it. It's obviously up to Guy and his team to defend the 1 second, and if you look at the GC, you've got me at 1 second, you've got Crome at 2 and you've got Pat Shaw at 3.
So as expected, the final stage of the Woodside Tour de Perth for 2015 was a fast and furious affair. They got off to a nice rolling start, however an early crash in the race stopped proceedings, 1 or 2 riders falling off. Paul van der Ploeg, the world mountain bike champion, hitting the deck very hard. That allowed the race to settle down and the first breakaway of the day to go. Graham Dawson, Dan Barry, Ben Hill, Tim Guy hit out, and they took over the race for the next 45 minutes. Those 4 riders took all the sprints out on course, and Otok Volt Racing sat on the front of the bunch protecting their team leader, Guy Calmer.
Couldn't imagine the boys ridden any better, and everybody out there just full on. It was just full gas the whole time, and the boys in that break there were just, I didn't think we were going to bring back, to be honest. They were flying, we were holding there 18 seconds, and it was just unbelievable. A few of those guys it's touche, they rode so well.
Just as the race moved into the final part of the event, Jack Bobridge, second overall, 1 second adrift. He hit the field with 15 minutes to go. This was his big moment to try and win the tour, but it wasn't to be. The OTOC team held fast and Kalmar was able to finish in the top 6 on the stage and take the yellow jersey.
This is the last race of Woodside Tour de Perth.
Search to Retain's Angus Tobin took out the stage in front of Michael Schweitzer from AWS, and in third place was Sam Crome from Charter Mason Giant Racing.
Gas it! Ambulance back, mate. Ambulance. Oh, mate. Yes. I was sort of thinking about the win before coming into the stage in the sprint. How it all worked out, I had to freelance a little bit, but yeah, I was planning on being there, so it was good.
The yellow jersey winner, of course, is Guy Kalmar, OTOC Vault Racing. The green jersey and the King of the Mountains jersey goes to Pat Lane from African Wildlife Safaris.
Next for Guy Kalmar is turn up to Adelaide and see what happens and watch this space really. So it's going to be an interesting one, but it should be fun and everyone's going to turn up and want to steal everything off me, so it's all good.
And the Subaru National Road Series jersey is going to be worn by Sam Crome when we get to the Tour of Adelaide in April. The best team of the race, 3 stage wins and a placing on the podium, Charter Mason Giant Racing.
As we take a look at the overall standings for the Subaru National Road Series after the first event of the year, even though he finished third in the Tour, Sam Crome's consistency throughout the Tour de Perth sees him take the overall lead in the series, ahead of the next event, which is the Jayco Tour of Adelaide, which sees both the men and women competing.